Hello, the concept is very simple. This video is literally just me talking about the leaves that I enjoy on different plants that I own, and that is all. I hope you find it interesting. Okay, I am a big fan of these leaves. This is a Cocos nucifera, or nucifera, I haven't looked up how to pronounce it. And the reason I like the leaves is, one, I enjoy let me bring it closer so you can really appreciate. And I'll move that out of the frame. I really enjoy the fact that the leaves are sort of ridged and they have this almost like corrugated iron or cardboard type of feel, where you have all of these ridges along each leaf, like so. I enjoy the fact that they are almost like very big blades of grass. So if I move it back a bit, you'll see what I mean. Look at that. Each individual leaf is long and it's thin, but I also enjoy the fact that they grow in pairs. I think that's very fun. They almost look like pointy rabbit ears. I'll show you these two here. Or actually, I just realized they kind of look like tails, like of a fish or a mermaid or any other aquatic creature that has a tail that looks like this. So that's just another thing. When I was little, I was obsessed with dolphins, and so maybe this is coming back. It's in a new element or angle of my life. Why else do I like these leaves? Those are the main reasons, to be honest. So, next. Okay, next up we have my Schefflera. I don't know the species name of this particular Schefflera. If you know, let me know. It doesn't say on the pot, so I can't be sure. But it is a Schefflera, or sometimes known as an umbrella plant. The reason I like the leaves, again, let me bring it forward so you can see and appreciate. The reason I like the leaves is, one, I like the fact that they grow in little clusters like this. In this one there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different, I believe leaflets is the right word, and this whole thing is a leaf, and these are leaflets, but I could be wrong. I'm not a botanist, though I like to cosplay as one here and there, and I also believe that that could be one of my next callings in life, so stay tuned. But I like the fact that it grows in that format. I've seen it described as like it looks like a reaching hand, like this, like a reaching hand, especially when they grow. So if I show you a smaller one, down at the bottom, this one right here, you can see it kind of looks like a hand is reaching out to you, like so, which I think is quite cute. I also like this particular plant, even though that's not the focus of the video, but very quickly, I like this plant because it's got a braided trunk, and I've never seen that before on a Schefflera, so that's why I bought it. I actually, before buying it, I did ask on Instagram if it was the right thing to do, and some people said yes, and so that was all I needed as an excuse. But if you want to further support my plant purchasing habits, then be sure to follow me on Instagram to get a chance to see when I'm about to buy a plant. Otherwise, I quite like the underside of the leaves here. So this plant was clearly in the shop, it was only facing, the light was coming from one direction, which is why all the leaves are facing one direction. And, sorry, let me stop moving this plant so much. But I like the backs of the leaves, they are like a paler green. And I don't know, it looks interesting even when it's facing away from me, which I think is quite fun. Though I do want to make sure that the plant sort of evens out. I just lost a leaf. Evens out, and so I'm going to make sure the light is facing from this direction. All I will say about this plant is currently unnamed, and I think it deserves a name. I don't name all of my plants, but this one I want to name it, but I can't think of a good name. So if you want to name it or suggest a name, I'm really not in frame, but if you want to suggest a name, then please do in the comments, and I will maybe take a suggestion or take a hint. Okay, we're going to continue on with the absurdly large plants. And is this my tallest plant? Let's see. No, not yet. My tallest plant is probably the coconut palm I just bought. So, if you've been around for a while, then you'll know this plant. I've done a video on it right here. And very side note before we get to the leaves, it's growing too fast. Like, you can see it's not in the frame. I'm not even going to try and adjust it so it fits in the frame. It's growing too damn fast, and I said in my last video about it that if it grows any faster, I will have like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's already about to hit the top of the windowsill it's in. I don't have another appropriate location for it. But anyway, this is about leaves, so I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to say. Let's see how close you can get. There we go. As I'm sure you can you know, the reason I love this plant and its leaves so much is because they're fuzzy. You may not be able to tell it from the camera. Let me see if I can move it even closer. Hopefully you can. But the plant has these very fine hairs all along, and it's almost like a, well, you can't really see it on the camera that well, but the reason it's got that sort of silvery sheen is because it's got lots of really thin hairs that go all along the top and the underside. You can't see the underside from this angle, but the underside of the leaves. And for a long time, this was definitely the plant that I enjoyed the leaves the most because of that and that alone. That's all. Okay, now we're going a bit down in size to a more reasonably sized plant that I can easily lift. But this one takes a lot out of me. This is my snake plant. The reason I'm throwing it and tossing it around is partly because it's small and I'm just appreciating the fact that I can lift it with one hand, and partly because this is a plant that I disrespect all the time. It is definitely the most disrespected plant in my household, and that's just because it doesn't require much attention, and I'll be damned if I end up killing a snake plant by overwatering it. That just feels like it's not part of my destiny, part of my brand. So I effectively try to ignore its existence. Anyway, the reason I brought this plant on was partly because I like the fact that the leaves in this plant are so vertical. I just find that interesting. Just, it's a bit different than a lot of other plants, and that's number one. But number two, I started noticing, sorry, I'm really waving this around a lot. I started noticing that some of the leaves, like this one right here, let me bring it closer. Some of the leaves are kind of wonky, like so, and I have no idea what caused that. Wow, I'm not in frame at all. Okay, 1 second. I noticed that some of the leaves are wonky. So this one, it grows up and then it grows off to the left for reasons completely unknown. And I don't know, I found that kind of interesting. I've not seen another plant where the leaves just change direction so quickly. Maybe if I flip it around, you'll see it more clearly. Yeah, I don't know. It's not coming up on camera as noticeably, I think, as it is in person, but it really just like changed direction mid-growth, and I've got no idea what that's about. You don't really get that, at least even with the other leaves. You can see the other leaves, they are not bone straight, but they don't change direction mid-growth in that same way, and I don't know, it's an interesting feature about this plant that I like. Okay, next up we have someone I've not featured on here for a while, and that is my good old avocado plant who goes by the name of Celsu. The leaves on avocado plants are not all that interesting, but there's something that I noticed on my avocado plant because mine is special. Shout out Celsu, that's my guy. One of the leaves, namely this one, has this very weird, interesting shape to it. This sort of rounded M almost type shape, maybe a B if you look at it like this. And as you can see on all the other leaves, all of them normally end in a point, but this one just is a bit different. And that's another reason why this plant will always have a special place in my heart. It would take a lot for me to get rid of this because it's unique. That's all I have to say about this one. Final plant, my strawberry plants. I hope it's going to come out clearly on camera. The light's kind of gone and I'm just dying for summer or even spring, so that you can actually, do things after 3 p.m. But hopefully it comes up. So what I enjoy about these plants is that, just like the Kalanchoe Beharensis, they're fuzzy in a different way though. So the Kalanchoe has very, very fine hairs that are very populous. There's so many of them, but the strawberry doesn't have quite so many. But one of the reasons I like it is because the fuzziness is like, it's soft. The other one is a bit more like stubble, but this is soft. It's like very fine hairs all along every leaf, and also along the. Let's see if you can see that. If I do this, can you see it? Yeah, kind of. Even along the stem, like so. It's not very clear, but you get the point. I just think that's fun. I also noticed the other day that it actually looks a lot like a very miniature version of, are they philodendron? I think philodendron. I will look that up and come back to you with some real facts on that. But I think it's philodendron that they have like the fuzzy petiole versions, or the fuzzy leaf or fuzzy backed versions, and the non-fuzzy ones. But I noticed the other day that they actually look these plants look kind of similar. So if I can find a reference photo, I'll put it here so you can see what I mean in terms of similarity. Obviously not at all the same. This is literally going to produce fruit, and it's more, it's not as finicky, and it's like suited to tropical climates, blah blah blah. Obviously they're not actually the same plant. This is tiny. I can hold however many of these plants in one hand, and the philodendrons grow huge, so they're not the same. But I just thought it was a fun similarity to draw out. Side note, I really don't know if I'm ever gonna buy like exotic / tropical / rare plants. I don't like stress, and I also don't see myself, they're gonna get me for saying this, I don't see myself spending so much money on upkeep and maintenance of plants. I don't really necessarily have an issue conceptually with buying an expensive plant, but buying a plant that I know I need to like put a grow light on it and like keep the temperature a certain temperature, put it in a cabinet, keep the humidity up, I don't know if that's for me. No one asked, but I just thought I would share that with you. In case you're wondering. Anyway, I'm keen to know if you would like to share with me too, what are plants that you like? What are plants that have leaves that you like in particular? What is it in particular about those leaves that you enjoy? Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious. And I think a leaf is really what captures my attention first and foremost, beyond anything else in the plant. I think leaf and the form, those are the two things that catch my attention. And that would probably be the thing that encourages me the most to buy a plant. I'm not really in this game for money, to buy a plant as an investment, or to buy one that's just rare for the sake of rareness, but it really is in part aesthetics, and then in part of it, it's like how I look after it and the care. So I'm keen to know if you have any plants that you would add to this list for yourself. Music. Oh, definitely. Okay, so not randomly, but I was listening to, well, that's also not true. Why am I lying? The song in question is Dos Oruguitas. I don't know the rest of the words, but Dos Oruguitas from the soundtrack from Encanto, and I watched that, I don't know, like a year or so ago, but randomly that song just popped into my mind, and that is a banger. The song is so, I don't know how to describe it, like it's picturesque. And so I do speak Spanish, right? But even though I speak Spanish, I don't know all the words. So when I was listening to the song before, I first started listening to it, I had no idea what it was actually about. I wasn't really paying attention. and I was just singing it and not really thinking about it. And then this time around, I actually listened to the lyrics a little bit more, and I realized the whole thing is a big metaphor, and I was like, that's like, oh, that's actually, it's very sweet, because there's a bit that it says like, ay mariposa, no se aguanten más, something something something, adelante seguirás. And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's like sweet, talking about like a butterfly, and then I was like, wait, what does those Oruguitas even mean? What is an Oruguita? Wait, what's even un oruga? And I looked it up, and there's a caterpillar, and I was like, of course, that makes so much sense. Like, the lyrics now actually make sense, because it's literally a metaphor about caterpillars evolving, coming out of chrysalis and becoming a butterfly. It's very sweet. But the song itself just is enjoyable. It's very light and pretty, and the arrangement and the voice as well. I think it's Sebastian Yatra, I think is his name. His voice is just so enthralling, I think is the word I want to use. So shout out to him, and I'm going to listen to some of the other music, because that alone has just caught my attention so much. It's a banger. Yeah, I was going to start talking about the other songs on the soundtrack, but I feel like no one really wants to hear me talk about, we don't talk about Bruno a year and some change after the fact. So let me move on. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. As you're watching this, I'm probably not in the country right now, I'm probably away, and so I hope I'm having a good time. Future banker, I hope I'm having a great time, and so maybe you want to follow me if you want. Quizás. Perhaps you want to follow me on Instagram to see what's going on whilst I'm away. And maybe I'll have content whilst I'm away. Realistically, if I'm keeping it all the way real, it will probably not be a YouTube video. It will probably be something on TikTok, Insta, and the like. So you can follow me in those places. But if I think of something, or someone suggests something, wink wink, nudge nudge, for me to do whilst I'm away, let me know, and I'll see what I can do, and perhaps something will come of it. But if not, I'll see you when I'm back, okay? Like, I love you, but we don't like live together. There's no contractual obligation here. So I'll be back when I'm back, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's all all I really have to say. So thank you for watching. If you want to watch another video, probably my previous video, I will link it right here. If you want to watch a different video that is completely different to this one, I'll put one right here. And if you want to see what I'm doing in the future, then you can subscribe right here in my palm. Okay, bye.